Since the news broke out earlier in 2019, I think we've set our eyes on how do we help ourselves but also support the government in terms of accommodation. And we embarked on 3 major projects. One was Aquaview, Forest View, and then Kololi Sands. And luckily, all these are ready now and ready to host members of the OIC who are coming for this meeting. So we're quite excited. Although if there were no delays, we would not have made it, but we're kind of lucky that everything falls into place. But if you look around, in the country and what is happening at the moment, you can see that there's a lot of infrastructural development in terms of real estate. If this event was to take place 2019, most of the delegates will spend their times in hotels. But now we have the opportunity to host them in luxury apartments within the OIC's area, basically. For me, when I hear sustainable development, the first thing that comes to mind is environment and the climate. And for that, we embark on a project called Greenville, where we are the first and the only certified company embarking on environmentally friendly housing. Traditionally, real estate are the biggest threat to the environment because we go and cut trees and whatnot. But we realized that this is not the way to go. And we set the standard to make sure that most of our future projects are environmentally friendly. So we went through a rigorous process with the NEA, who then approved us and gave us the certification. And we're quite happy to be leading in that front as well. So this would be a trend that we aim to continue. Before this summit, we've been involved in a lot of development. Over the last 17 years, my company has been developing estates, both site and services, to also housing developments. So for us, the infrastructural development started before. And during the OIC, we've seen a lot of development taking place with the new roads, water and electricity, which is a boost in our sector because this takes away a lot of the headache that we usually have. And we intend to embark on doing further developments post the OIC as well, because this is bread and butter to what we do on a daily basis. Because without proper infrastructure, then housing will become, inaccessible and also insufficient to a lot of people. So we're quite excited in this front. The success of our business is based on partnership. We've been doing this for the last 17 years. On a local level, obviously partnering with FDIs and all that lot. The opportunity now to partner with the members of the OIC, it's quite appetizing because we know the size of their wallets and what they can do if they decide to embark in developments here in the Gambia. So this is something that we're looking forward to. We're quite excited to see who we can partner with to generate more housing for the Gambians and Gambians abroad. Over this last 17 years, to be honest, there's been quite a lot of success stories to share. But the ones I'm very proud of is how we've been able to develop human capital in the Gambia. Now, looking at the staff level, having people to come on board with no experience in real estate to then becoming their own bosses of real estate companies. Some are working in different fields, doing different things. For me, that is one of the biggest achievements. If you look at people that have run through our ranks and what they're achieving now, I feel a lot of pride seeing that happening. In terms of what we've done in development, we've been involved in more than 5,000 properties over the last 17 years, both in the Gambia, Senegal, and Ghana, which averages about 1 property a day. So again, that is something to be quite proud of. The recent success stories, obviously, the building of our head office, which is, when ready by the end of this year, will be the tallest building in the Gambia. In the past, we would have satisfied ourselves by just becoming tenant, but we now want to become landlords of our own offices as well and renting and over. At the same time, we're also developing one of the biggest apartment complexes in the country, which is the Lakeview, which is going to host 182 apartments as well. So these are just few to touch on. I'm sure the success stories have been many, and we're looking forward to more. But just to mention these 3, I'm quite happy with those. The challenges obviously have been there, and they're always going to be there. But without those challenges also, then you wouldn't see the opportunities, because if you're able to tackle those challenges, then you can then move forward and develop a successful business. Lack of infrastructure was one of them. In the past, we have to do everything. We have to do the roads, water, and electricity with all our developments. But now that we're seeing what the OIC has contributed in the development of infrastructure in the country, it's very encouraging. The legislative framework in terms of real estate in the Gambia as well, it's one of the challenges that we're facing. But I know government are looking into it severely, and hopefully they can come up with something very soon to protect not only us, the developers, but the end consumers, who, if they're lucky, will buy one property in their lifetime, or if they're more lucky, then they can buy a couple more. But they need protection. They need protection so that people can't just take their money and disappear without delivering what they're supposed to. So, for me, Gambia is more than ready now, because by just driving around, you'll see a lot of infrastructural development, a lot of construction going on. I would just want to emphasize on the fact of the shortages of housing in the Gambia, but not only in Gambia, but in Africa in general. Recently, I read that there's a shortage of 50,000 homes. If you combine all the top developers in the country, we're not developing 1,000 a year. So that basically means that there's a lot of room for development, there's a lot of room for people to come on board and then hopefully solve this issue of housing shortage.